I hope everybody's still got their PJs on and their sweetest, most sugary cereal, because I got a movie that pairs up perfectly with your Saturday morning cartoons, and that is Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, today in Dan's Saturday morning matinee movies. Star Wars Empire Strikes Back, released in 1980, was the sequel to the first Star Wars film and kicked off the trend of the term episode being used in the titles for all the different Star Wars films. This film takes place after the destruction of the first Death Star by the Rebel Alliance and really depicts the ongoing war between the Rebellion and the Empire. But most importantly, I think the film depicts the growth of the character Luke Skywalker. We see him in the first film as a farm boy who doesn't really know much about the galaxy or about the Force, and he's just learning about these themes. And by the third film, he's pretty much a full-fledged Jedi. So really, all of his growth as a Jedi you see in this film. Myself personally, I've always felt that this film stood out from the other Star Wars films. I think it just offers maybe a little bit more. It offers a lot of the lure, the settings, and the characters that we've come to love over the years. You think about all the new things that this added to the series. Just to list a few, Hoth and all the things that come with that, whether that's Wampas, Tauntauns, Imperial Walkers, even those snowtroopers. The first time we see an alternate look to the stormtroopers was in the beginning of Empire Strikes Back on Hoth, and as a kid that was captivating to me. You leave Hoth and you introduce more iconic settings, more iconic characters. When Luke goes to Dagobah to train under Yoda, when Han and Leia go to Cloud City to meet Lando. It's really just, iconic setting and iconic character one after another. And maybe there's something to say for the fact that, they're always introducing new characters, new species, new vehicles, new weapons. It might not all be for creative direction in the film, but more so for selling toys to kids and selling merchandise. That saying, through that process, they did end up creating this vast universe of all these different species and all these different characters that really did make Star Wars this galaxy that people could, immerse themselves in and really dive into and role play. That's why you see the role play games so popular. You see like the Star Wars immersive experience at Disney get rolled out. It's became this world, this universe that people want to live in. That's what films are for, is to escape your normal everyday life. And films like Star Wars are kind of the best at doing that, taking you to a far off galaxy with all these different beings, and they just do a great job of creating a world that you can live in. Let's talk about lightsaber battles. It's not Star Wars without lightsaber battles, and this movie might have the best of all of them. The battle between Luke and Vader on Cloud City, in my opinion, the best lightsaber battle in all the series. And you don't hear very often people talk about how well shot the Star Wars movies are. You talk about the innovation of, shooting the models and stuff, but scenes like this, it's just perfectly shot. Like, they don't have to rely on CGI or athletic martial arts movements from the actors like they do in some of the more modern lightsaber battles. They just shot this so perfectly, and they created such a perfect setting for this lightsaber battle, and they're able to tell a story in the battle that's just captivating and suspenseful, and it really just draws you in. And that's why I always thought it was the best lightsaber battle by far in Star Wars. Not to mention, it's building up to that climax of that reveal of Vader being Luke's father, which I really couldn't imagine. I try to put myself back in the shoes of somebody in 1980 who, as a kid, watched the first film, anticipating that second film, and there's no internet, so you're not getting the spoilers, and actually being at the theater and like, oh my God, Vader's his father. Like, I just couldn't imagine, because you're never going to get that these days. The spoilers are always going to get out. You're always going to have an idea. And it's really just captivating, because I don't think there'll ever be another like twist like that in film ever again. So yeah, if any of you guys happen to be one of those weirdos that have never seen any Star Wars movies, and there are a few of those out there, you might not like them all, but I bet you'll like this one. It's really, really one of the best sci-fi movies, in my opinion, of all time. It might not be as, artistically ambitious as a 2001 Space Odyssey or a Blade Runner, but film isn't all about art. Sometimes it's about entertainment, and it's important to remember that. The other films I've covered on the Saturday morning movie matinees, a lot of them have been more like foreign art housey kind of films, and I love those films, but I also love some good old fashioned entertainment once in a while. And there's few films that provide that better than Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. So if you haven't seen it, or if you've seen it a million times, go throw it on. It's the perfect way to kill a Saturday afternoon. And it was my pleasure to bring it to you guys this week on Dan's Saturday Morning Matinee Movies. Until next week, guys.
Our combined strength, we can end this destructive conflict and bring order to the galaxy.
I'll never join you!
If you only knew the power of the dark side. Obi-Wan never told you what happened to your father.
He told me enough. He told me you killed him.
No.